go to the city I was just visiting there where the Denver Broncos hired Sean Payton, who took a year off uh, after the Broncos fired Nathaniel Can't Hackett. Uh, just a disaster. They go out and trade their entire draft for Russell Wilson, who was underwhelming, who barely threw for more touchdowns than he had bathrooms in his house. The O-line is still a mess. And Sean Payton, after a year off, we'll see what he's learned, what he's done. I think sometimes we'll see if he can pick up where he left off. I think sometimes if you take a year off and you get out of that, it's interesting to see what happens, how much of it takes you to get back into that routine of things of grinding 20 hours a day and figuring it out. I know he's said all the right things about Russell Wilson. He's not going to get special treatment anymore like he did last year. Sounds like he's going to bring in Rex Ryan as the defensive coordinator. And I don't know who he brought in as a offensive coordinator either, but it's going to come down to how well he does with Russell Wilson. And frankly, I can't believe I'm saying this, and I've said my fair share of things about Mike McCarthy, but I don't know how far off I am when I say he's Mike McCarthy with a better PR rep. I mean, their resumes are very identical if you put them put up blind resumes next to them.
Well, and I think you got to realize also, this will be the first time Sean Payton's a head coach without Drew Brees. We've seen, Bill Belichick's record in his career, both in Cleveland and New England, without Tom Brady. And it works both ways, but if you don't have that true franchise quarterback who your organization trusts, your organization believes in, and your team can rally around, you're not going to make it more than 3 years at one stop. So I'll be interested to see, what Sean is like outside of Drew Brees. But also, I don't know, Denver just seems like a real unstable spot. New ownership who they're forking a bunch of money out to, in the stadium with these contracts for Russell. Now also trade another first-round pick for Sean Payton. You trade Bradley Chubb away last year. Your receivers can't stay healthy. Your best running back's coming off a torn ACL, bad offensive line. It's going to be interesting here in Denver. And like I said, before, Dylan, I don't know if this was the best fit for Sean Payton. I'm surprised. I would have waited a year for Brandon Staley to get fired and go to Los Angeles and work with Justin Herbert. And then also, you had a top 5 defense last year, and you let that coordinator walk. Well, actually, I believe he went to Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. So Frank Reich with 2 great hires. There. So, and Rex Ryan being out of the NFL for the last 5-6 years. If he does land in Denver, how can he adjust, and how will his scheme different from when he last coached to today? Will this top 5 defense buy into it or not? I'm not sure. So it'll be interesting piece there in Denver. But if there's one thing Sean can bring, it's going to be stability, and that's the one thing that Denver needs.
I don't know if I'm gonna say it's a smart job to take, because I'm with you, Grant. I don't think it's really that great of a job, especially with the new ownership.
Yeah.
I think Patton's probably more the GM. He's probably the next on the hot seat if something wouldn't go very well this year again.
For sure.
If anyone's gonna fix Russell, it is Payton.
Yeah.
Maybe not, I shouldn't say fix, but at least make him serviceable. Maybe not what he was in Seattle or anything like that, but at least serviceable and can actually win you some games, unlike last year where it seemed like he did everything but win a game.
Well, yeah, they were losing in spite of him.
Yeah.
And, well, I think the other part of it, too, is I think he needs to get back to doing what made Russell Wilson great, where they get him out of the pocket, those scramble plays where, Russell's trademark is let Russ cook, but I think Mark Schlereth, I think he's the one that said that is you can get a lot of good recipes by just putting something in a crock pot and letting it simmer for 8 hours. And I think that's what you need to do with Russell is you need to have a commitment to the run game and use that run to open up the pass where he is able to use his strengths, getting out on the edge and finding guys, not making it a drop back pass game where Pete Carroll did a really good job of hiding that and, playing that complementary football that they played in Seattle.
Well, it's a lot like what the Niners, the San Francisco Niners run right now.
Yep.
You drop Russ into an offensive system like that, and also with the Rams there with Sean McVay, that's when good things are going to happen. When you shorten the field, you don't let him sit back in the pocket, and read the whole field with such like that. But that's not in Sean's playbook. We've seen how big that call sheet is. He's got his quarterback sitting back there, throwing it 55, 60 times a game, going all over the field, doing things with his arms. But then again, that might be because he had Drew Brees. But he doesn't have Drew, and he doesn't have the weapons that they had there down in New Orleans. So it'll be interesting. That's going to be a team that gets a lot of media attention next year. And again, and if it goes south quick, oh boy, it's going to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, we'll see what he learned in his year off. And